What's up? Good morning, everybody, man. Welcome to another episode of Coffee and Coaching. And I'm excited to dive in with Mr. and Mrs. John and Pat Licata. How are you guys doing?
Doing great.
Yep, doing very well today. Thank you. We've got beautiful weather here.
It's cold here.
Great day at the lake. Great day at the lake.
I would love for you guys to kind of share a little bit about your backstory and kind of where you guys are located.
Okay. We're located outside of Fredericksburg, Virginia, which is a little bit south of Northern Virginia, although we do service that area. We ended up here because we purchased a second home in a community called Lake of the Woods, and after a year decided that it was where we wanted to be. So we sold our business at the time, which was a moving company, and moved to the lake full time. And it was a couple of years later, after my not working, and I am a worker. So I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do with the rest of my life?
She got tired of eating bonbons, feeding the geese.
We got to keep.
Swans.
So anyway, I started thinking about what I wanted to do in a new career because I had done marketing for our moving company. Prior to that, I had done some commercial leasing in Northern Virginia, and I was a lender for a mortgage company. So I started thinking about everything that I had done and what I enjoyed most. And I said, my God, I've been all around residential real estate, but never in it. And we didn't have a good experience with our realtor because she was not a resource for anything. So that was how I started. I'm like, I can do this better. And it was after the crash. So most of the agents in the area were miserable because nothing was selling, or if it did sell, it sold for half of what it had sold for prior. So they just all had baggage, and I was new and everything was exciting. So that was how I started in real estate. John started giving boat tours for me and saying things that you should not say as a realtor. So
hey, I'm just being truthful.
I can say anything I want.
Yeah, I'm just being honest.
That's it. You are not getting me in trouble. You need to get your license, and you can get yourself in trouble. And that's how he joined me.
I never get myself in trouble. I do get her in trouble occasionally.
That is more often than occasionally.
I love the boat tours. Is that still kind of part of the business?
Yeah, absolutely. I have one on Sunday that's scheduled if you're interested.
Yeah.
The last one of the year. Then we're winterizing the boat.
Got it.
In March.
Yeah, but we of course offer that to anybody looking in our community, but we also just put it on Facebook because there are many people who live in our community who've never been on the lake because they're not waterfront owners. So we just put it out there. Does anybody want to go on a boat ride today?
I'm the captain.
And he's Captain John. And we do get a lot of people who are interested. And, we'd like to pay you. And it's like, absolutely not. But if you know of anyone interested in buying or selling or investing, make sure that
that's what Sundays is. So that Sunday, off the top of my head, I don't even know who it is, but they reached out to me and I said, sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know Gaydosh, that's, how he built such a strong presence in the community. That's how he sells a lot of the lakefront homes is via boat and being able to take people out, right? You emotionally get them attached, right, to that experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's fun for us too. I mean, when you really enjoy it, it kind of makes you fall in love with it all over again. So it's really nice to share that.
Yeah. That's such a great point. So you said a couple things, you guys had a moving company prior to, making the move and getting into real estate. And then also in the mortgage side of things, just those different perspectives. And you said, our agent was not a resource. Kind of explain a little bit about that, because I think that's so critical from a leverage point as a true professional to be that go-to resource.
Yeah, I'm absolutely happy to expound on that. So when I first started, I knew no one. I mean, I knew absolutely no one in the community. And I started really focusing on the fact that this agent wasn't a resource. So I made it my mission to learn as much as I could about vendors, about the area in general, so that people would call me. I will never put anything on a list because that associates my name with the list and things change.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes vendors are great for a little while or for a certain type of job, and not others. So I want people to call me. So I have the opportunity to establish more of a relationship with them. And I rescued a swan. And believe it or not, I have gotten so much business from that. I've now started a wildlife group in our community, and I've already gotten a great lead from that. And
Our logo is a swan, by the way, that she wrote on the back of a napkin.
At a bar.
At a bar. That's usually the best.
Yeah. So it's when you are a resource and you come top of mind for whether it's a plumber, an HVAC, or where to go in the community, you're just always out there. But you have to be careful because, of course, you've got to give good referrals. They're an extension of you. So I am very choosy about who I refer. And I definitely want to know, like, for example, if someone asked me about an HVAC company, it's like, what do you need done? Do you think you just need it serviced or do you need a new unit? Because I may have two different people I would send. So it's kind of the same thing as what we do when we're starting to work with buyers or sellers. It's asking a lot of questions so that you can be the best referral source based on what they truly need. So it's, again, similar, just assessing needs.
Yeah, such a great point, right? You're taking control of the client's experience that they have with you from the moment they're introduced to you through from now on, right? Building focused on lifetime value. But I think a lot of people miss that mark because of, either they're trying to get some type of vendor association, vendor fee, and they're looking at the dollars instead of over the overall experience for the client. And I would be willing to bet that you vet those vendors out based upon your values and your standards as well.
Yes.
Yeah, John, you were pointing kind of at the what is that, the CHBA placemat, the buyer placemat.
Lifetime vendor relationships.
Lifetime vendor relate. Before we came in today, I have a HICRA home, that we're replying to, and I turned it over to our transaction coordinator, and she'll do all the, get the people out there to look at the things. And they're all people that she knows, that she's worked with, that she can count on. And really the only way to get upside down with us relative to that type is if someone isn't performing to the level,
to our
standards,
standard.
and that's, we're pretty loyal with the folks, but if they screw up, and it's a reflection on us.
Sure, 100%. No matter what, even if they drop the ball, the client's going to look at you.
Yeah, they do
in that regard, and that hurts that lifetime value.
So we treat our preferred vendors like our sphere. So, for example, we have a local pie maker who's phenomenal, and we're ordering 200 pies that are coming in starting Saturday.
Guess who's picking the pies up, John? On Saturday?
Not me.
In the boat?
No, in our trucks. We have a couple of moving trucks.
But so our vendors are all included in our list of asking what kind they would like, because they are important to us and we want them to always give great service.
Sure. Yeah. You look at, what are the top relationships that are going to help grow our business over the next 90 days and beyond. And when you have, a great vendor that is going to not only service, but also send clients your way, you really want to pour into those relationships. It really is really powerful and a very important get if you want to continue to grow. You mentioned that coming into a market that you knew nobody,
Right.
and you got really heavily involved in the community and started nurturing and building relationships. What else did you do to kind of spark the business and to get transactions going?
It took me a long time. I was with Coldwell Banker initially, and I was in our market, our main market. It's really, there are 4,000 homes in the community, but there were 4 different real estate brokerages right outside the front gate. And it was super competitive. So no one would help me with anything. And, our broker was a typical broker that wasn't, I mean, I remember having got my license and walked into the office, and I just stood there and said, "Oh my God, what do I do?"
What do I do?
I had no idea how to start. And the brokerage that I was with was wonderful with classes for compliance and education, but not anything to do
Business development.
with business development. So I was not in a position where I needed to have a transaction in order to succeed. So probably for the first 4 months, I was so nervous about getting a client because I didn't know anything. I mean, getting your license doesn't teach you anything about being a realtor. So I just took a million classes at our local association, and I learned an incredibly important lesson from that. I was brand new, never done a transaction, and the agents in my office were coming to me to understand the contract changes and that sort of thing, because I was the only one taking these educational classes.
Yeah.
And so I learned, number one, that education was critical. And I remember clearly, not my broker, but one of the other brokers in a different office of the same brokerage said, "Are you going to be one of those people who just take classes forever and never have a transaction? Or are you going to start getting transactions?" And I thought about that. It's like, but I don't know how to get them. Like, I didn't know what to do. So I worked at least 40 hours a week, every week for 7 months without a transaction.
Mm.
I was building my business without really knowing it. I mean, this was in 2010, but I started a database in 2010, and I started out sending an
Website.
e-newsletter to everybody. I would stop people on the street, and they were walking their dog and just say, "Hey, I sent out this great newsletter about Lake of the Woods that talks about upcoming events as well as real estate. Are you interested?" So I started building this huge pipeline, and it was right before Christmas. And all of a sudden, I just woke up one day, and I know this is going to sound weird, but I just had this feeling that everything was going to hit. And literally within 2 days, I got like up to 7 calls of people saying, "I'm going to be selling next year, and I would love to, to have you sell for me." So that was kind of how it started, and it just ballooned from there.
Yeah, that's so cool. It's you made the deposits of value into the community,
Um,
and you got some of their attention, some mind share, and then the transactions started to flow. How with that experience, right? Because that's pretty typical for agents, brand new agents, if they don't align. And I really truly believe a brand new person getting into the industry needs to get onto a team that provides the training, can collapse time, can get them into production and get them productive as fast as possible. So from that experience, how have you applied that to the business today?
Well, that's interesting because
Completely
You-
correct.
you know, um, you may have heard this. It's actually a Ross Perot thing. He said, "Eagles don't flock; they fly one at a time." And Pat's an absolute eagle. A flock is a team, right? The team, they work together.
Mm-hmm.
Eagles don't fly like that. So Pat was an eagle. I'm more of a goose in terms of team. My background sort of provided that. My prior career, that was, where I was at. My careers where I was at. So we then started to put together the vision of how we make this work as a team. Because at some point, I think Pat was probably doing 40 transactions. She wasn't enjoying it. She wasn't sleeping. She wanted to quit. Every night she was working about 5 different things.
Yep.
Somewhere between 15 and 25 transactions. That starts happening to most people. It started happening to Pat, at that point. And that's where sort of I came in. I was a reformed eagle that turned into more of a teammate to try to put some business practices in place. Pat started hiring a helper.
I had an admin or an assistant, and I think I fired 5 of them.
She was Murphy Brown, if you remember Murphy Brown. Every week she was firing someone. Eventually hired our daughter, which was totally crazy. She had to be
a disaster.
She must have been on crack or something to do that.
John.
Every 3 times a day, she would fire our daughter, with good reason. But I say you can't do that to people. You can't do that.
Well, I want to interrupt by saying that the first piece of advice that I got from that broker when I wanted an assistant was to hire somebody new who wants to learn the business. Clearly, that is the absolute worst advice you could ever give anyone, which is why there were so many firings before I finally got a great assistant. And then John came on board after that. And I mean, John is right. I like to do things by myself because I feel like I want to know everything. That's just my personality, which is why I took so many classes before I would ever want a client, because I felt like I needed to know. But now that I see a productive team and what we offer, I would have been interested in a team, but I would have needed to have understood what it really was and what it offered. And I think that's what's different about teams, is because there are so many different structures. Like, we have 2 agents who came from teams, and neither one of them were anything like ours.
They say, we thought we were on a team,
Right.
We weren't, but they were. It was just a different team. And the way we operate is, pretty reasonable, but it has a purpose and a structure.
A lot of structure, accountability, training. We do huddles 2 days a week. We have meetings twice a week. So there's only one day that we're not checking in with our agents.
Right.
And of course, coaching is important to us. We have a brand new agent who just started with us. Well, she'd been an agent for a couple of months. She was actually with EXP, but not with the team. She joined our team, and she just got her first offer accepted yesterday.
So she'd been
with us a week.
She'd been an agent for several months. She joined us through one of our lead generation programs, got a lead, and it went under contract yesterday.
Yeah.
Good for her. That's awesome.
So, that's in as we looked at her, which took a while. I mean, we don't bring people on very quickly. It's actually laborious for both of us.
Right.
And we felt, hey, she's going to be good. She's going to fit. She could fit. And it's still early, and it's a bit of a crapshoot when you're bringing people on board.
Sure.
But we work hard to try to make sure that it's a good fit, so both of us have success.
Right.
Yeah.
It is all about value. I mean, you hear it all the time, but you hear it all the time because it's true. You have to provide value to team members.
And they take if they're on our team, if you're familiar with the Millionaire Real Estate, which I know you are with the Gary Keller book, we do that. We subscribe to that pretty strongly, but we deviate a little bit through coaching. Told us we can deviate a little bit, make some things work for us, but we do follow that. And there's a split, and they're giving us part of their earnings. So Pat and I are in sync on this. We know whatever, if they give us $1, we need to give them $1.10 back in value to continue with us. And our people have been with us. I mean, knock on wood, the folks who are with us stay with us. And you have to have that value. I absolutely know that, not in this environment because we're in a virtual environment, but in our last brokerage, and we were visible there. People would say to our teammates, to our agents, and why are you with them? Why are you giving them a split? And they would say, because we get more than we give. And that has to be the problem. And we're in sync on that. That's our, that comes from us.
It is. It's so important. The two key things for any successful organization is that you've got to have a slightly better than competitive compensation for the value that you're providing, and you've got to have an exceptional culture. And you're looking for the people. You're looking for your people. You're not looking for all the people. You're looking for the people that align to who you guys are, align to your values, and align to structure, aligned to accountability. And there's a lot of people that run from that. And to be successful in this business, you have, and most people don't have the self-discipline and don't have the ability to be accountable to themselves. And that's why they need that culture. That's why they need that environment to succeed and accomplish what they want to accomplish. And that's just who you guys are.
Well, and what's interesting, John, is we're very similar. 95% of us, me and her and I, are in sync, right? Maybe it's 96, maybe it's 93, but we are, our values, our mission, our goals are pretty much in sync. I'm a little bit more fun to be around. She's not fun. Fun for her is like an concept that she can't figure out.
Oh, be quiet.
With me, having fun is fun. Like doing this is a bit fun. But in the end, like if you look at our team, we were talking a little bit about this today, and I thought about it for doing this, and we've done this before. Like the guys sort of mirror me a little bit more.
Sure.
The girls, the ladies sort of mirror her. I will say, and I've done this and I've said this. Hey, you're either winning or you're whining. You're winning or you're whining. Stop it.
That's right.
I wouldn't say that to one of the ladies. She would say it in a much different way. She gets the same, but our approach is different.
Yep.
So it works. It sort of works. The people look at me, I had one of our agents who just retired sent me a nice note, and he said, "You're a coach. You coach from a very positive way." And I look at the positive to hopefully bring that out.
Mm-hmm.
Some are different, but we sort of have enough different, even though we're at the core, our values are the same. We sort of have different ways of being there. And when you think about real estate, there's a lot of different ways of being successful.
Right.
And if I couldn't be totally like Pat, now I had a good mentor because she's excellent, right? I have a great mentor, which has certainly helped me. It was because of her, but she's not me and I'm not her in that 5%. And that makes a difference. It makes a big difference. It also makes a difference to our team.
It does. And I think that's one of the benefits of having, there's a lot of pros and there can be some cons with husband and wife teams. And, typically husband and wife, you have different personalities, different approaches, different styles. And so that gives you a little bit broader range of your audience to be able to
We
speak
talk about
to
that.
different audience. Yeah.
In the hiring process, we talk about that because, you know, she'll yell at me. You know, we always have food here. You don't get built like this. And normally, if you come on board with us, but we have goodies all the time. And I'll be in a meeting. She said, "John, you're eating the bagel. You're talking with the bagel." You know, she doesn't like that, right?
No.
Or John, you misspelled cat. You know, I can't spell, but she's an English major, lit major. You know, so our people get that and they sort of have fun. I mean, and we tell them up front, hey, that might happen. And during the interview process, when someone's considering, you know, when we're both considering a good fit, we have them talk to our team and they tell them, hey, you know, this is what it's all about. It's a bit of a Who concert there at times, you know? And so that is,
it's kind of more of a family environment. It really is. Just because of the dynamic, I think, and because we are married.
But we understand, you know, and I say this because, you know, in sports and coaching and in, you know, companies you hear, well, it's like a family. Well, to an extent, that's BS, right? Because, you know, I didn't raise them, I don't bore them, but we take responsibility when we're bringing someone on board that, you know, they have to earn a good living, they need to reach their goals. And we talk a lot about that. A big part of coming on board, our onboarding in our meetings are about them meeting their goals. And it could be, you know, it could be someone wants to buy a house that doesn't have a house, you know, a young employee coming on board, right? A young person coming on board. It could be, you know, and so that's, we hone in on that. And I think our team, you know, a lot of folks you get into real estate because they want free time and they think they're going to make a lot of money, and you certainly can, and so do we. But our team knows, and our team is part of this. That's probably not the first thing on their list of our culture. Like everyone wants to earn a good living. We want to earn a good, but I think, and we do, but I don't think our team looks at us and says, oh, they make a lot of money. You know, that's their driving. Quality is our drive.
Right.
A good work environment. Culture is our number one drive. Doing a great job for our clients.
Yeah.
And we do. And that's number one at the expense of making a few more percent of the bottom line. Now, that said, we have a team meeting once a month. They see our financials. They know what we're making. When we hire someone, you know, it is when we're bringing someone on board, how does it affect our financials? How does it affect the workload? I mean, we're consciously talking about that, and they're buying into it. There's very rarely, Pat, where we make a decision against the team. If anyone, I get voted down more than anyone.
I mean, it's absolutely true. Like, I'll just say, like coming to EXP, for example. I mean, we've been talking about it for years, and John doesn't like change. And it was really COVID that allowed him, I think, to see that things can be done virtually, because we were with
I was the only one who voted against coming to EXP.
He was. And the team finally said, John, come on. We've been talking about this forever. We just need to do it.
John, it was about nothing against Keller Williams. I like Keller Williams. I like
it's a great company. Yep.
This Command, they have this operating platform called Command. I know you've heard about it. It sucks. It sucks. Maybe in the last 4 or 5 months, it's gotten a little better, but it really wasn't working for us. And we were doing all workarounds. And I said, hey, I don't mind it. And the team said, well, you don't do anything with it. We all do it for you. Your vote doesn't count. And I said, oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Because I'm not, I'm getting them to help me put the order in. So I lost on that one. And it's worked out for us well.
Of course.
And one other thing, we don't hire unless we don't bring someone on board. And remember, our agents are independent contractors. They're not on the payroll per se, like a typical W-2. But
they have a say in who we hire. Everybody talks to the prospective agent and gives us a vote.
There's
That's
only
right.
been one time where I've sort of forcefully said, "Hey, we're bringing this person on board." He was a long-term friend of mine who I knew deeply. We trained the same way. We went through early training in our careers, and I knew he would be
Sure.
successful. But he didn't have a real estate background, and we had always hired people with some real estate
We'd
background.
already had their license.
But I brought him on, and he's done extremely
Yeah.
well.
The lesson is, I mean, you guys have a hiring process, and just like Pat, you said earlier, just trust the process. And part of the process is, having the team get to know the person and make sure that they're going to be a core value culture fit, right? Because one bad apple can disrupt the whole apple cart. So we've got to really fight and protect for that, especially when we get that built.
Yeah.
And when you hire someone, whether they're a good apple or a bad apple, I mean, there's a level of responsibility to have that person succeed. And, you don't like getting rid of people. I mean, we don't.
No, but when we have to, he's the one who does it. I don't like it.
I'm the bad guy.
Became the bad guy.
And I don't like doing that. I don't like doing it. So
But you're very good at it.
the other thing that I was picking up on, and I want everybody that is listening in or listen to this, and it's really the glue. And a lot of people, kind of miss the glue, but the glue is care. And so you guys fight for who you bring into the culture, who you bring into the organization, because you're going to care, and they're going to know that they're going to feel that you guys care. And that really is, I mean, that's the glue of any successful organization and leadership as a whole, with your culture and with your people, is, do they know you care? And like you were saying, you're pushing them.
That also transcends with your clients too.
Sure.
I
100%.
would say, like, as I've gotten older, I am not nearly as social as I used to be. I've never liked groups. I'm like a one-on-one person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the authenticity, and I really do care about people and helping them make the right decisions. And that's, for me, what it is. I focus on sellers, and a lot of sellers are elderly people. And that is the style that I found works really well. And it's not a style as much as it's true. And there was one thing at EXPCon that someone in one of the classes that I attended said, it's like, don't ever say something that you don't believe or that isn't true, because you want to remember at 3:00 what you said at 9:00 in the morning. Yeah. And I mean, that resonated with me because that is something that I believe in.
Also, I would say, and I talked about the family, and I sort of separate a little bit on that. I really feel, and listen, I didn't grow up with people putting their arm around me saying they love me. That wasn't the environment I grew up in, although my parents, I know, did. But we love our people. I mean, we love our people.
Yeah.
And you know what? They love us. But it's based on trust and respect. Right. And we're in sync. They know that we don't want to harm them, even though I might say something a little stronger than they would have normally. Like when I told him, and I don't know if Keith is listening, when I said to Keith,
say the name of
to
God.
Keith, I know he wanted to, and Keith's an athlete, he was a baseball player and, played sports. So we sort of get along, although he was a baseball player. They're a little soft, but
oh my God.
But I know initially he wanted to kill me. I know he wanted to strangle me, but we had enough respect and there was enough equity built up on both sides that you could do that sort of thing. Again, I wouldn't do it for the Pat.
I would do it again.
I wouldn't say it to Pat or Mary or someone like that. But we truly have. I mean, I love Keith, and I know Keith loves us. Probably loves Pat a little more than me, which is fine. But we're in sync, and we're mostly in harmony. We're not always in harmony.
Sure,
but we're in sync.
Definitely not always.
There's a difference there. There's really a difference. So, it all gets back to culture. It all gets back to respect, and it all gets back to values and vision and mission. And
100%. What are you guys seeing? As kind of this crazy market, and we're heading into wrapping up the fourth quarter, heading into the new year. what are you guys kind of anticipating? What's kind of the conversations with the team, as we move into the new year?
We have always had a really strong fourth quarter. We've done the 16, or is it 12-week year? I can't even remember.
12-week year.
The
Yeah.
12-week year. So we are on target for.
We got that from you guys, by the way. So
meeting our goals. And so we are anticipating a continuation of that this year. We talk about it at our sales meeting every week. I think that, again, due to COVID, I think we're still going to have a strong first quarter. People are moving. Of course, inventory is still low, but I've definitely seen a shift. I focus mainly on listings, and the last several of my listings have been home inspection to negotiate repairs, which I had not seen in years. So clearly there is a little softening there. But I think you just have to stay positive and keep your nose to the grindstone, and you will do well. You won't do well if you stop working. And that's the simplest way to put it.
So two things on that. Most individual practitioners, hustle through the summertime, and then, get to September, they've made some money, and they're a little tired, and they take a break. And then, then the holidays come, and they say, well, no one's doing anything. And they don't do anything, and then because they're tired and they need a break, and then they get to February or January, nothing's there. The way our system is and our processes, our producers, aren't getting caught up in some of the stuff that our team, the other parts of our team are taking care of. So they're able to be consistent
with their region
throughout each quarter. On the other side of that, and this is, I don't know where, how many people are listening or where they come from, but we live in the northern central part of Virginia. So we're close to DC. We're close to Richmond, which is the capital. Virginia and the greater Washington area has distinct market advantages that, unlike anywhere else in the world, in the country, maybe the world, there's so much government money coming in, military money. I don't know what you are, left or right, or Democrats or Republicans or middle, but they're all spending money. It never gets less, and it gets more. It's going up. So we advantage that. And now with the pandemic and remote working, people want to live where we live, and we're still close enough. So we're fine. I know where you live. We have advantages that are built into our system. So 100%. Being in real estate where we're at, we're in the right place at the right time. And unless the government goes poosh, which who knows, right? I doubt it. I think we're going to be all right. We'll be. It may be a little different, but we'll be all right.
Yeah, I think you guys are in a great position, and you're right. If people can work virtual, they want to be more of a lifestyle type of environment that they want to be in, and you guys are right there for that, to be able to, because it really is. If you're able to work remote, you start second guessing where you're at. Like, do I have to be here? And it's like, most of the time the answer is no. You don't have to be, for a lot of people. So,
even where you live, and similar to where we live, in that, a lot of parts of the country do not have broadband. If anything, this influx of money is going to drive broadband, which is going to drive values even more, because people don't want to live where there's no broadband. Well, guess what? There's going to be broadband there, so they'll be able to live there. That's going to drive wealth. That's going to drive opportunity for people. And one thing Pat and I know where we're absolutely in sync on is we create our own economy. We have advantages built in, but we'll be okay. We'll be all right.
Sure.
And we're excited about where we're going.
Yeah, I would be too. You guys, and you nailed it, right? You don't stop. You don't take your foot off the gas. And I've seen those over the last 18, 24 months that never let up, that actually even stomped on the gas a little bit harder. Those are the ones that are thriving. They've gained mind share, they've gained market share, and it's not gonna be any different. So,
well, John, Pat stays between the lines of the, when she's driving, she stays I'll drive on the sidewalk occasionally. So.
I'm with you. I'll get on that shoulder to get out, get around.
Oh,
Oh, that's awesome. So what, what are, just from y'all's perspective, I know you've got some excited about the future within the business, but what else are you guys excited about moving into the new year?
I'm excited about the one-on-ones with the agents that I'm starting to do. I'm excited about seeing how much better we can be next year than we are this year. And we're having our company-wide business planning session. When
2
is
weeks.
that?
2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. So
That's the final. We started in September.
Right.
This is the crescendo.
And then the final. And I love that. I don't like talking about goals as much as I like talking about missions. I think there's a difference between a goal and a mission. Goals are easy to say, yeah, I almost met my goal, or I'm almost to my goal, or I didn't make my goal, but you never want to say, I didn't complete my mission. I don't know. For some reason, I'm a wordsmith. I love words. So for me, and that's why it drives him crazy, because he can't spell.
Pat, unpack mission. What does that mean to you?
I'm sorry, what?
Unpack mission. What does that mean? What does that mean to you?
So listen, Pat has talked about this for years, and it was way over my head. I didn't quite gasp. So I was sort of goal. I heard goal. She would always, I'm on a mission. There's I'm an old college wrestler and wrestling coach, and that's a big part of who I am, and I'm still in that community. And there was this great coach. He's one of the greatest coaches. Google him. His name is Jay. Just Google J. Rob, and you'll hear him. And I've had social exchanges with him, and we were talking about goal. I was talking about goals, and he says, goals. He says, now he was an Army Ranger, #1 in his class, Vietnam vet, Munich Olympian, okay? And a great coach at Iowa, and just a great coach. And he said, here's the difference between he said, when you're on a mission, you can't fail. When you're a Ranger, you can't fail. People die. BS on goals. Be on a mission. And I learned more about that by having a coffee with J-Rob. And it clicked. It clicked. That's the difference.
It started when I got my license, because I said, I learned education was important, as I mentioned to you, and training. And then I said, I had 2 sayings. That was, I'm in a hurry, because I felt like I wasted so much time not having been an agent when I should have been, and that I was on a mission. And I said, when it comes to my neighborhood, it is exposure, then oh God, now I can't remember.
Infiltration.
What?
Infiltration,
and then ownership. So that was my mission. And I just, every day I thought about that, and that was my target. Somebody I think it was Grant Cardone, said, you can't worry about all the details. You have to keep your eye on the target. Mm-hmm. And for me, his target is my mission. That's how I view it, is it's my mission. So you don't have a choice of not completing your mission. You do have an opportunity to not meet your goal.
She's a sniper. She will
get
eventually.
I love it. That's so powerful. One of the stories that I've been kind of sharing here lately is from the 2000 British rowing team, and they were horrible. They won gold in 2000, but they hadn't won a medal since 1912. And so in 96, coming out of 96, they kind of changed up the philosophy, and they had one decision filter, and that was, is this going to make the boat go faster? Right. That was their mission, to make the boat go as fast as it could. So, hey, is this donut going to make the boat go faster? Hey, is this night out with drinks and partying, is that going to help the boat go faster? And, so every decision they made is this going to help make the boat go faster because we're on the mission to win, to be the fastest rowing team in the 2000 Olympics. So I love that mission over goal because it's the way it's framed is like, you can't fail on the mission.
Right.
Yeah, that's so good. That's awesome. Just kind of as we're wrapping up here, and you kind of alluded there, and John, you had mentioned compliments back from how you guys pour in and coach your people, and you with the wrestling and background coaching dynamic. How instrumental, how important has being part of the culture of having that coaching element into the dynamic, into the culture for your people?
Well, if you're going to come on board here, like, Pat just took Jasmine to the XPCon, right? So, our office manager, we're investing in her. We've been investing in her for years.
And she does coaching on her own, operations, admin coaching.
And we have, you have in Frisco in a few weeks. Mary and I have already been there, right? Pat's taking our folks. We pay for all that. That's part of who we are. When I say we pay for it, they're paying for it in their splits, right?
Sure.
I mean, they're funding it, but that's who we are. If you're going to come on board with us, you understand that's an expectation, that there's going to be 2 meetings a week that you're going to participate in for at least an hour to an hour and a half. We have a team meeting, once every 2 weeks, where we're going over the financials and our sales and where everything's coming from. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, you're calling into an accountability huddle. I mean, you have to buy into that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we argue privately, well, we should be doing more of this, or this, we should be more of that. I mean, if you're not into that, and that most individual practitioners aren't into that.
Individual could be agents in general.
Well, I like the word. It's different. I'm an agent, you're an agent, but we're part of a team. It's not like an individual agent who just doesn't want that.
No.
We were out here one day, not Pat, me and 2 of the agents, and I said, I think we don't have enough accountability. I don't think we're accountable. And they're like, are you crazy? There's a lot of accountability here. I need to get my rear end out of bed and be on that call. And I better have something to say positive. Otherwise, and I'm like, oh, I guess there is some accountability.
Yeah.
Not enough for her. Not enough for her, I guess, but enough for me.
It is. It's just that culture of accountability, and it takes everybody buying into it, but really takes from a leadership perspective to really hold.
And also, John, accountability, quality. I mean, we measure our clients' experience, and I'm not going to say the name, but of the last 420 reviews, we got all but 9 5 stars, 9 4 stars, and we got 1 3 star. And the person who got the 3 star, Pat had me call her. She was crying and ready to jump off the cliff. And that wasn't good, because it really had nothing to do with her. It had to do with a referral partner who dropped the ball. But that said, I was so proud. She cares that much.
Yeah.
And for a long time, I called her number 3. We give nicknames here, number 3.
He's a jerk.
And just recently, she had something unbelievable report come back. And she said to me, are you over this number 3 now? Will you stop calling me number 3? And in fun. But I said to Pat, that's culture.
Yeah.
That's culture when someone feels so strongly about that.
No, they care. And, they take ownership in what you guys and what we talked about kind of at the beginning of this conversation, and really designing and putting the experience in a way that is going to build lifetime value, instead of leaving it up to chance and leaving it up to somebody else that could impact the experience that the clients are having are having with you. So no, I appreciate you guys jumping in and sharing and adding a ton of value. It's been a fun conversation, and I love what you guys are doing and really really building that cohesive team and group of high performing human beings that are having a tremendous impact within the community.
Thank you very much.
Well, thanks for allowing us to share our part of our story, and we really appreciate all you do to help us and our team.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an honor. Awesome. Thank you guys. Appreciate y'all, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. See ya.
All right. Thanks. Bye.